Hello and welcome to my next video on using the Flight Sim 2004 Boeing 737. In this video I'm going to cover again GPS, and this is just a simple way for you to use the GPS to self-position for a visual approach at maybe 10 miles or 12 miles from a runway. The airport I've used today, I've started from, is Echo Golf Lima Lima, which is Heathrow in London, and the destination airport is Gibraltar, Lima X-Ray Golf Bravo. And if you look on the map, all I did on the runway was put in LXGB on the runway at Heathrow, and I've just followed the GPS line down. And as you can see, if I was to carry on following that line, it's not really going to bring me out for any kind of landing, because the direct to line is at right angles to the runway. So if I just carried on that, all I would see was the runway sticking out on the left and the right. So this is a way to use this bearing to self-position for 10 mile final. There's two runways. The runway here is 09 or 27, and the first thing you have to do is elect which runway you're going to land on, and I'm going to land on 09. I put the plane down at the airport earlier, and the actual heading for the runway is 092, so I can put that into my course setting on the nav equipment. So I know that's where I have to have the blue arrow to land, to be in line with the runway for a good landing. So the next thing I do is, if I bring up the GPS, is I'm going to offset the heading by about 10 miles to the west, and then I'm going to turn east and hopefully land. So there I am, I'm direct on heading, and first thing I'm going to do is check what my heading is. So I bring my heading bug up to what the plane is heading, so I'm just going to change it around a little bit, and I'm going to change from nav to heading, and then I'm going to alter the heading by about 20 degrees to the right. And I'm going to use this cross track to keep myself 10 miles off course. As long as I don't change that heading, that line will still run straight onto the runway. So as I turn right, already I'm 0.1 mile from the track. So I'm going to carry on doing that until I'm 10 or 11 miles to the right or to the west of the line. So the flight's a wee bit further down the line. I've started descending. I'm going to reduce speed now to 150 knots, and I'm descending towards 3,000 feet. You see, my distance now is about 32 miles out, and I'm 11 miles now to the west of the original course. You can see the airport there's just coming into sight. So I'm going to put the heading back onto 196 degrees. So that means I won't go any further from the airport, and as long as I use my heading bug, I can keep an eye on this cross track and keep it between 10 and 12 miles. So if I'm going too far, I just have to turn left a little bit. It'll bring me back onto, and if I'm getting too near, I just turn right, and that'll bring me back onto the cross track heading I want. So the next thing to do now is just to proceed on this parallel course down towards the runway. So I'm back with the flight again, a little bit further down the line. As you can see, I'm 12 miles out now, and I'm coming 120 degrees to the runway as the bearing, and that's going to reduce very quickly now because I'm quite near the airport, and I'm running down a parallel line. So I'm going to turn on to the 092 radio, and there's a few ways I can do this. I can go by the 092 radio, put it into the GPS, and then turn back round on it, but I'll overshoot it by a couple of miles if I do that. Or as I get nearer to the 092, I can gradually start turning in towards it, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to change my heading now to about 150 degrees. This just means when you hit the radio, you're going to overshoot it. You're not going to overshoot it by so much, and hopefully it'll make it a wee bit easier to get onto it. Another way I could do it on the 737 is I've lined this course heading up with 092, and this is the blue line tells me how far I am from the runway. The distance not the distance, the bearing arm from the runway. So if I just, like the last one, if I just waited till that was inside that, I could do the turn. So these are two ways you can do it. I'm going to have to re-enter because it's terminated. So if I want to re-enter that 092 radial, I would have to go enter LXGB, enter, and it'll give me the new radial, which is 103. So I'm almost there now, so I'm going to come round a little bit more, maybe onto about 130 degrees, and I can re-enter this at any time until I get the 92, which is the one I'm looking for. That's 101, 100, or I can just watch this blue line until it goes into the centre. I'm at 9 miles now, so I'm going to have to start descending a wee bit because I'm getting quite near the airport. So descending at 1,000 feet a minute. I'm not really looking for the airport. I'm more interested in picking up this 092 radial. I'm at 8 miles now. The airport should be in sight anyway, down the right hand side somewhere. There's the airport there, so you can see I'm just coming onto it. Re-enter this 094, so I can bring it round it now to about 100 degrees, and enter. There's the 092 radial. So basically all I have to do now is follow the 092, just follow that pink line. So I'm going to come back round to about 091, and there, as you can see, the runway now. If you'd made it a longer approach, you could obviously it would be a wee bit less frantic to do, but I'm trying to do it quite quickly. So you can see now I'm almost on the 092 radio now, only 37. So basically I'm just going to get on track with that radio and follow it down, which that'll correspond to that being in line with the course setting on the nav equipment. So that's me almost ready to land. I've just paused the flight sim for a moment so you can see that I'm lined up now for a landing, which should bring me in quite well. As you can see, as I said before, on this nav equipment, I've set the course to 92, which is runway heading, and the line is almost right in the middle. And on the GPS you can see I'm right on the red line, the 92 radial, the direct track 92 radial, and I'm only 0.02 of a nautical mile off track. So I've managed to get back online, and now basically all I have to do now is gear down, is just keep on course. So I've got 2 reds and 2 whites, so I'm good there. Autopilot off, auto throttle off, and then I'm just doing it manually now for the last. I'm a wee bit low, but that doesn't. It's quite a short runway anyway. So throttle down to 0. Watch my VSI just line up at the last minute, and full back. As a landing. So just to recap, I can quickly go through what we did. The original GPS line's gone now, but you can see where I've run down the original GPS line from Heathrow. At that point I've deviated slightly to the right. Sorry, that's the original GPS line. If you'd follow that right down, you'll see it would take you to the airport. So that's me on the original GPS line. There's the point where I've deviated right for 10 miles, and there's the point where I've started running parallel again with the original GPS navigation line, and there you can see is where I've started to turn in at the bottom. There's the point where I plotted the 92 radial, and the rest of the time basically I'm just trying to deviate my flight to get back on that radial again to the purple line, and there I'm on the line, and that's the landing. So I hope that's made sense to you, and you find this useful. My next video is going to be on using the ILS to land the plane. So that'll be the next one. Goodbye.